Hi, this is Dhruv,
And this is John.
and this is week 8 of the devlog. So before we begin, I'd just like to say if you guys like our videos, then please like and subscribe. It really helps us out and helps us see if what we're doing is getting some sort of engagement. So this week, we're thinking of talking about generally how we design games, how we come up with games, how we come up with the process. So John, do you want to first start off with how we come up with the process of designing a game?
I still wonder if we are at a special place to be talking about when people should follow our design, our way of designing. But
I would not recommend that.
yeah, we're kind of hard workaholic. It's not. Yeah, we work really, really hard, so we make stupid ideas work and we iterate like crazy. But anyways, usually how we start a project is during a project. So when we work on something already, we would always wonder, oh, it would be so cool if we're working on this, or we're working on that. And usually it happens when we see some sort of material, and then like we'll come up with somehow we'll just come up with like a point to start. Like for example, I want to do a top-down game. We never done top-down game, and then Drew will be like, "Oh, top-down game. It would be cool if we start doing this." And then Drew and I will start bouncing ideas. But that's usually how we start. That actually is also the part when we start realizing, when you're designing, especially with a team, more than one person, you actually have to learn how to accept or actually listen to other people's opinion. So. Yeah, Dhruv, I don't know. You've been pretty nice about a lot of things, but have there been times when I ask you, hey, we should do this, and you're like, it's not that big an idea, but I don't want to really say anything.
Yeah, I think there's most of those times is whenever it's programming required UI, requiring UI. I really don't like programming UI, but I think I don't know. Maybe it's just a self-pride thing. But I feel like since we have the ability to have a programmer be separate from an artist, I think that like if there is something that I have the ability to program, I will try to program it. So even if, let's say, something is required and it's going to take some amount of time to do it, I still would want to spend that time just because I feel like that's kind of the luxury of being able to have a programmer while also having art. I don't have to focus on trying to figure out art and stuff like that. So it's easier to be able to really delve into the programming and technical side. So that's why I don't really complain that much.
So what do we do after we have an idea and we finally finish whatever project we're working on? How do we start the next project after we already know what we want to do?
So after we realize what we want to do, I think we've kind of changed over time. When we first started, we just kind of were like, this would be cool to add, this would be cool to add, and just added a bunch of things. And the game didn't really have any focus. It just became a really weird combination of different things that don't mend well together. But I think we've learned over time that we would hone in a game to have a focus. And that focus doesn't necessarily have to be something that is crazy specific. It doesn't have to be like a mechanic. It doesn't have to be a specific kind of idea that is like ingrained in the game. It's something broad, for us at least, has been what we've figured out that allows us to also be kind of creative. Is it's something broad but still able to point us in a direction. So for example, for Brave Eduardo, our focus is more about exploration. When we first started designing this game, me and John were going to Arizona, and we were talking to my mom. She really likes to hike. We were talking to her about why she likes hiking, what are the challenges of hiking, and what are the experiences that she enjoys in hiking. And with that, we came up with the idea of trying to make a game that kind of encapsulates that essence of hiking or of exploring. I think it's something within our nature. So that's why when we're making Brave Eduardo, we are trying to focus on the exploration aspect, and then the challenges that come along the way.
Yeah, I think we started getting this idea of focus and or more. I think it's more limitations. Well, focus limitations, similar. But we got the ideas. We started coming up with the idea when we were working on Mirror Blade, our last mobile game. And towards the end, it became designing was much easier because it's easier to design. I think Dhruv and I we like to talk about this example. Is it's much harder to have someone draw something on a blank piece of paper. It's much harder to do that, and compared to telling them to draw a bird, but you can go crazy on the bird. So then when you tell them when you have a focus, like what Dhruv says, then everything you design have to revolve itself around that focus. And like Dhruv said, when Brave Eduardo, we talked about exploration. So then from then on, every time one of us come up with some sort of cool idea we thought in the moment, we think about whether or not it works with the exploration aspect. So for example, if we go like, oh, I want to purchase a house in the game, but it doesn't add to our exploration, then we'll say, yeah, we probably have to cut that out. But yeah, that's generally the next part. And like I said, we learned it from a GDC talk from the guys who made Darkest Dungeon, and it's a great game. I think it's designed very well as well. So that's usually in the next scene, and after that, Dhruv and I will start talking about how we want to make the art style work. And then during that time, this is the kind of the crucial step, is where we already have a focus, we have our limitations. Then Dhruv start working on the mechanics, the programming, the bases, and then I usually start playing around with the art style. And then during this time, you'll get a lot of conflicts with, oh, I think this art style looks good, oh, I don't think this looks good, and back and forth. But once this step is done, usually you have the basis of the game, and that is exactly how Brave Eduardo was made. Is
being made.
What did I say?
It was made.
Yeah, it's still being worked on currently.
Yeah. So like John said, I think that for that part where we are kind of working on getting that art style and me getting the mechanics, that part is very important because it kind of lays the whole foundation of the entire game. So I guess what I would like to end on is, if anybody's really going to want to start game development, we've had experience, but I wouldn't say that we've had monetary success yet. So I wouldn't give our example as exactly what you should do. But I don't think you should really follow anybody's example. I would just say that if you want to make a game, then try to find that focus of your game. I think that's something that I think you can apply without having to sacrifice anything in creativity. But I think it's very, very important.
I agree. Yeah, so that's generally it. I think week 8, it's still going pretty strong, second month, and we'll see if we can keep on doing this. Like and subscribe.
And comment as well.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye guys.